Hi gang. Everyone is watching the announcements that Apple are making around a smarter Siri, but that's not really the story. The story that's going on here is that Apple just told you where the front door to your business is going to be, and most owners have missed it because they're too busy arguing about which chatbot is the best one to subscribe to. So let me show you what's actually happened, and once I have, you're not going to be able to unsee this. So you need to look at the layers. Compute power is sorted. Nvidia is basically selling the shovel and everybody's buying. The models are sorted too, and the new Siri, the centerpiece of the entire sort of keynote that they've done, basically runs on Google's Gemini anyway. Apple is reportedly paying Google around $1 billion a year for a custom model to power this. Apple, the most valuable company on earth, is renting the brain. So I mean, just you know, sit with that for a second. Apple didn't build the cleverest model. They've given up. They just didn't need to. The model is a commodity now. There's so many of them out there. You rent it like you would essentially just rent electricity. So if AI compute power is sorted and the models are sorted, what is there actually left to win in this space now? Well, you've heard me talk about this before, and I think it's the door. I've been banging on about this for 2 years now, possibly 3. Your website is becoming the back door to your business, not the front door. The front door is the agent, the thing that people actually talk to. Apple have just built that door and they've bolted it onto 1.5 billion devices. The new Siri doesn't only answer questions, it's going to act. It's going to read your screen. It's going to pull context from your email and your messages and your apps, and then it's going to reach into other apps to get things done. And there's quite a bit of plumbing that kind of sits underneath this called app intents, but basically in plain English it means this: if Siri can't call your app, you just don't exist. The user never opens you, they never see you, the agent picks somebody else and it just moves on. That's the same move, by the way, that Apple made in 2008. Developers build the apps, Apple owns the distribution. We're in a different decade now, but it's essentially exactly the same playbook. Last time it was the App Store, this time it's going to be the layer that decides which app gets to act on your behalf. And here's the part you're not going to like. How cool is this, by the way? This is the part you're not going to like. None of this is your problem to fix with a bigger AI budget. It's going to be structural. Most businesses are structurally invisible to an agent. You just don't show up. So ask yourself, honestly, when someone says, find me a, whatever you do, plumber, into their phone, does the machine have any reason to surface you and your business? Is your business described in a way a machine can actually read, or is it all fancy graphics and a hero image? And even worse, if you're vibe coding websites now, by the way, it's even more important. When that agent does hand your business a lead, is there anything on the other end to capture, or does it ring out, just ring out to a tumbleweed, essentially? Is there anybody there to grab it? If you don't like the answers, then essentially that is your diagnosis. The technology was never the gap. The gap is that your business was never built to be found or answered by a machine, and that machine is now at the front door. I might be overselling the launch of this new Siri a little bit. I suspect it's going to take some time before it's rolled out properly. It is English only to start with. It isn't live in the EU or China at launch. And the on-device model essentially is going to be absolutely tiny. The whole thing really leans on developers actually wiring their apps in, and plenty of them are going to drag their feet. It could roll out much slower and messier than the keynote, if you've watched it on YouTube, makes it look. But you know, this is my philosophy, not gospel. But you know, the direction isn't in doubt. They are moving towards your website being the back door to your business. This was Tim Cook's last WWDC before he hands over in September, and this is the legacy that he is leaving, essentially. Apple has stopped trying to win the AI race, and that's massive. What they've started to own is the doorway that everybody walks through. This isn't a retreat, they're not backing out. It's probably the smartest seat in the house. So here's the uncomfortable bit. The big players have already made their move. Nvidia owns the shovels, Google rents out the brain, Apple is building the door. None of those are fights that you are in. Your fight is much smaller and a lot more urgent, and it's whether your business is structured to be found and to answer the moment the door opens. Because right now, for most of you, it simply isn't, and you're just not thinking about it. You don't need a new tool. You don't need to fix, all these bits and bobs on your website. The business that you have today is not the business that you're going to have tomorrow. You need to start thinking about this stuff. And that's it from me, from Manchester in the rain.